Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Hot Bella experience. In today's video, we're going to be using one of the newest mini palettes from Huda Beauty, and that is the Caramel Brown palette. So if you want to see how I'm using this palette in detail to create a gorgeous eye look, then keep watching. My face has been cleansed, and I used my Elemis Rehydrating Ginger Toner to tone my skin. I then followed up with my Fresh Black Tea Kombucha Facial Essence. And for moisturizer, I used my Tatcha Water Cream. And for my primer today, I'm using my Smashbox Primer. I've had this primer for quite some time, so I decided to use it again today. Not only am I trying to work through all of my foundations, I'm also trying to work through my primers. But yeah, so face is all ready to go. I prepped my eyes using my P. Louise eyeshadow base. And you guys know I like using a highlighter as my brow bone highlight. So today I'm going to use this highlighter from Pat McGrath. This highlighter is in the shade Champagne Gold, and I'm going to use this as my brow bone highlight. I am now going to use the Huda Caramel Brown Mini Palette, and I am going to use this shade right here as my transition shade. This is a very soft, peachy type of shade. Definitely has like a peachy type of tone to it, but very soft. It works really well as a transition shade. I'm going to do a halo eye look today, and I am going to use this shade, which is the darkest shade in this mini palette from Huda Beauty. And I'm going to use my MAC 242 to get the shape, or to put down the darker shade first. And then I'm going to switch over to this brush. This is a brush that came as part of my Sonia G 5-piece eye set. And I'll use this just to blend it in where I need to. I like using my MAC 242 to start off with when creating a halo eye, because it allows me to get right into this inner corner of my eye relatively easy. If I were using a more fluffy brush, it would blow this color out more up into this area, which is not what I want. I want to keep this tight and low. So this MAC 242, you guys have heard me talk about this MAC 242. You know she can do no wrong in my book. But it helps to give me the shape. And on this outer part here, I will use this brush just to smooth it out just a little bit. I'm going to go back to this shade right here. This is the shade that I used as my transition shade. I'm going to go back into this shade just a little bit because I want to just soften up the edges just a little bit. Don't want there to be any harsh lines, and also I don't want to lose this shade. And now that I've got my darker shade on my lid, I'm all set up for this halo eye look. I am going to use a little bitty drop. If you can see that on my mixing palette, that's a little bit of my P. Louise eyeshadow base. And I am going to use this to place in the center of my lid before I actually put the shimmer on. You don't have to do this. This is something that I just choose to do. I like for the center part of my lid to really kind of pop out. So I want to make sure that I kind of carve it out just a little bit. And for my particular eye shape, it just tends to work out better for me this way. I'm going to go back into this Caramel Brown palette again, and I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm going to apply this on top of where I have laid down my P. Louise eyeshadow base. I'm going to use this shade Dry to start off with to see what it gives me. I may have to wet my brush, but the formula of the Huda shadows are normally pretty good, so I may be okay, but we're gonna go ahead and just tap this on. I'm placing this in all the areas where I have applied my P. Louise eyeshadow base. This is going quite high up, but that is intentional. Like I said, for my hooded eyes, there's different little things that I have to do in order to get the look that I'm going for. I'm going back into the palette again, going back to the darker shade here, going back to my MAC 242, and I am going to do some more blending. And I'm going to add a little bit more depth as I go to the outer and the inner part of this look, but this is just blending it in. I want it to blend in very, very nicely. I'm liking how this is coming along. I think I want to go back into this palette once again, and I have got to use this gold shade right here. This is definitely calling my name. So I'm going to go back into this. I'm using my same Morphe M706. I believe this is what this is. It's my pointed eyeshadow packing brush. Yeah, and I am going to add just a little bit of this low and in the center of this eye look. Right here. See if that gives me something. Just a little bit. Just keeping that right on the mobile lid and close to my lash line. Going back into the palette again, this time I am switching brushes again. I'm using this brush. This is my Sigma E36, and this is the brush that I use when I want to add a little bit more definition into the areas where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. So I'm going to go back into the dark shade again, and I am going to just gently sweep this across, almost as if to connect these two is what I'm doing. Very, very softly, doesn't take much. I'm liking how this look is turning out so far, so I'm going to add my liner and my lashes, and I'll be right back. My liner and my lashes are done, so it's time to move on to my complexion, and I'm going to start off with my concealer. And I'm still trying out the new Tarte Shape Tape. This is the Ultra Creamy Tarte Shape Tape, and this is supposed to be the new and improved version. It's supposed to have a little bit more moisturizing type of properties in it, not quite as drying as the original Tarte Shape Tape. And I'm using the shade Tan Deep Honey. So I'm just going to place this in all of the areas that you would normally want to highlight and or conceal. I also forgot to mention that I have done some color correcting as well, and I used my Tatcha Pearl in my under eye area, and I also used my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer around my mouth area. I'm now going to do some cream contouring. I am going to use a powder foundation today. However, I am still going to do some cream contouring underneath. So I'm going to be using my staple product, that is my Tarte Clay Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Rich Honey. For those of you who have been watching me for quite some time, you guys know what this product is. I've been using it for quite some time. So I'm going to pull it out and use it today to do a little bit of cream contouring. I'm going to blend this in just a little bit more with my sponge. I'm now going to set my under eye area, and I am going to be using my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder. I love this powder. I want to go ahead and set my under eyes before this concealer has a chance to crease. However, I will say that right now it is looking pretty good. It doesn't look like it's settled too badly into my fine lines that I have under my eyes, but I'm still going to go ahead and just kind of tap this area out just a little bit more, just to be on the safe side. Under eyes are set. And for my foundation today, I am using the Lancome Dual Finish Powder. I am in the shade 420 Bisque. This is a neutral shade in this foundation powder. This is the second time that I've used this, and I wanted to try it again. The first time that I used it, I think it worked out pretty good, but you know, I want to continue to use it, get better acquainted with it. I am also applying this foundation with a brush. It comes with a sponge, but I like to use a brush to apply my foundations. So I'm going to use a brush to apply this. this. So I just kind of get it onto my skin, and then I'll come back and do a little bit more buffing once I get the powder all over my face. I'm going to add a light layer of my MAC Fix Plus. I'm going to let this dry down just a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with one more layer of this powder. Foundation is done. I'm going to do a bit of bronzing, and I'm also going to add a little bit of blush, and I'm going to be using the Bronze and Blushing Duo from Jacklyn Cosmetics. And this is one of the newer products that just came out from Jacklyn Cosmetics. I'm using this bronzer and duo. This is in the shade Hot Lava and Rich Cocoa. So this is what this product looks like. The blush here is the Hot Lava, and of course the bronzer is the Rich Cocoa. And this blush is really pigmented. So I definitely remember from the last time that I used it that I did have to go in very lightly. It only takes just a little bit. This is definitely not swirl in the pan and apply to your face type of blush. This is a light tap and going in very light. But it's a very nice blush. And now for the bronzer. This bronzer I find I really have to be kind of careful with as well, because it can run a little bit red. So I'm just taking just a little bit of this, very little bit. I'm going back to my Pat McGrath Labs highlighter. This is in the shade Champagne Gold. I use this shade as my brow bone highlight to start this look off. But now I'm going to use this on the highest part of my cheekbones to add a little bit more shine or highlight to this area. I'm now going to smoke out my waterline, and I am going to use these two shades right here. This darker shade here I'm going to place on the outer portion of my waterline, and then I'll just overlap with this lighter color that we have here. And for my inner corner, I think I want to play with this shade right here. I have not yet used it in this look, so I'm going to try this in my inner corner. This shade almost looks like a topper type shade. The shimmer is coming through like a really light veil of shimmer. So it's nice. It gives you just a little bit of something in that inner corner. I'm going to use another new product from Jacklyn Cosmetics, and that is the Luminous Powder. This is a finishing powder, and it does have a little bit of a soft type of sheen to it, but I think that it's going to really complement this matte look that I've got going on right now. So I have this powder in the shade Brilliant. This is what this looks like. And I'm just going to take a little bit on my brush here and just kind of dust it over my face and see if it adds a little bit of luminosity to this look. I think it does, and I think it's oh so subtle. It's just enough of luminosity where it's not too much. This is nice. It is now time for lip. I am going to use my oldie but goodie. This is my MAC lip pencil. This is in the shade Chestnut. And for lipstick, I'm going to be using a liquid lipstick from Juvia's Place. And this is in the shade Soul. This is a beautiful burnt terracotta lip shade. And this look is done. This is not my first Huda Beauty mini palette, and the love that I have for the mini palettes that she's released previously, I have that same love for this caramel brown mini palette. I think that it's a gorgeous palette, and I know I'm going to be able to create some gorgeous looks with it. This is my second time using the Jacklyn Cosmetics blush and bronzer duo. I'm learning to like this product more and more each time that I use it, and I feel the same way about the luminous powder from Jacklyn Cosmetics in the shade Brilliant. It adds just enough sheen to the face. And the Lancome foundation, I'm really becoming a fan of this foundation. It's a powder product and it works well on my dry skin, so I'm very pleased with all of the products that I'm using in this video today. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.